Rising seas, killer storms, droughts, extinctions, and money wasted on snowblowers are not the only things to worry about on a warming planet. There's also the shrinking issue. It happened to Siforpus, the horse, 56 million years ago. Siforpus shrank from about 12 pounds on average weight to about 8.5 pounds as the climate warmed over thousands of years. A team of researchers reported in the journal Science on Thursday. The horse, Siforpus, if you have to say the name out loud, lived in what is still horse country, in the Bighorn Basin of Wyoming, where wild mustangs roam. Siforpus was not much like the mustangs or any other modern horses. It was the size of a cat, ate leaves rather than grass, and counts as a horse only on scientific classification. It might have made a nice pet if anyone had been around to domesticate it, but the first hominids were a good 50 million years in the future. Its preserved fossils, abundant in the Bighorn Basin, provide an excellent record of its size change over a 175,000-year warm period in the Earth's history, known as the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum, when temperatures are estimated to have risen by 9 to 18 degrees Fahrenheit at the start and dropped again at the end. Scientists have known that many mammals appear to have shrunk during the warming period, and the phenomenon fits well with what is known as Bergmann's rule, which says roughly that mammals of a given genus or species are smaller in hotter climates. Although the rule refers to differences in location, it seemed also to apply to changes over time, but fine enough detail was lacking until now. In Science, Ross Seckard of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Jonathan Block of the Florida Museum of Natural History at the University of Florida in Gainesville, and a team of other researchers report on the collection and analysis of Siforpus fossils from the Bighorn Basin. They report that the little horse got 30% smaller over the first 130,000 years, and then, as always seems to happen with weight loss, shot back up and got 75% bigger over the next 45,000 years. The fossils indicate that at its smallest, Siforpus weighed about 8.5 pounds, and at its largest, about 15 pounds. Using fine-grained detail on both climate and body size, the researchers concluded that the change in size was, as suspected, driven primarily by the warming trend. It seems to be natural selection, said Dr. Seckard. He said animals evolved to be smaller during warming because smaller animals did better in that environment, perhaps because the smaller an animal is, the easier it is to shed excess heat. Paul L. Cook, head of the Department of Earth and Planetary Sciences at the University of California, Santa Cruz, and a specialist in reconstructing ecosystems and climates from many millions of years ago, said, "The paper lets us see the effect of warming on mammals where the climate change is really large." Dr. Cook, who was not involved in the study, said he thought that the question of whether natural selection was the cause of the changes was still open, and that the disruption of ecosystems during the warming period might have led smaller animals to migrate to new locations. The current warming period is occurring on a scale of hundreds of years, not thousands, and scientists can only speculate on whether the modern mammals will shrink. It's difficult to say that mammals are going to respond in the same way now, Dr. Secord said. If I had to guess, he said, he thinks some will get smaller. And he said, some studies have shown some birds will be getting smaller in response to warming. If warming continues at the highest rate projected, he said, there's another question. Can mammals keep up?